take those off because they're all clear. Hello, I'm just taking my glasses off because it just gets so glary with the with everything that I've got, all the light that comes into to our place. So welcome to self-isolation. Let's cook together, and it's day 4. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Feeling a little isolated, a little squirrely. I have got my kids here with me, and thank goodness, because Logan, my tech expert, is behind the scenes and behind the screen, so she is the one who's going to be waving her arms when you guys post a question or anything like that. Now, if this is the first time that you're jumping on here, know that there are 3 other videos. If you go back over to sproutright.com, they're all on there. On Instagram, we're having some difficulty with getting these up on IGTV, but I'm putting them all on YouTube. So on Sprout Right's channel, then these will be there. You'll be able to find them, and if you can't, just send me a message and we'll find the link and we'll send it to you. So right now we've got a whole bunch of cameras and the laptop and everything all set up so that we can try and reach more people, so that we can do this together, because it's really important that we stay connected in such an insane time where we are not getting to see people, we're not getting to give hugs, we're not getting to be close to the people that we want to be, and just to keep up with everybody. You know, the screen time that we're all sharing, my internet keeps going down because we're all on it at the same time. So it's really kind of tricky at times. So today we are going to do some cooking together. Now, anybody that's watching on I think it's my own, then you've got a little bit of a wider view of the kitchen, of all the things that are going on in the background. And then on the phones, then they're a little bit more narrow. So I'm learning how to do all this stuff and how many places that I can stream to at the same time. So if it gets a bit glitchy, I'm really sorry. We're pulling through a lot of the internet to go live to as many places. You can always check this out afterwards, but it's actually kind of nice to be on live together. So you can, I believe you can type in some questions or anything like that. I think everything is live, so I should be able to see your questions, and Logan will relay them back to me as much as possible. All right, so let's get cooking today. We're gonna make some soup, and the reason why I decided on soup today was someone asked me yesterday, what are we gonna make today? And I thought, okay, let's do some soup. But the real reason is because just before all of this happened, I made a huge amount of stock of broth, my meat broth, which is in my book, Sprout Right Family Food, and it's taking up too much of my freezer, and I need to use some of it. So I thought, let's do soup, because then I will use some of it. I'll be able to freeze the soup afterwards, and that'll take up a bit more space. But an order for meat from a Mennonite company that I get all of my meat from just arrived, so I had to clear a lot of everything out of my freezer so that I could do this. So I have a lot of stock ready to go, and I'm using some frozen corn, so that's going to make a bit more room for making a whole bunch of other recipes as well. So this one is fantastic for making a massive batch of. If you've got a bunch of corn, if you've got little scraps of corn, I should really be chopping and stuff like that while I'm talking, because I want to try and get to a place where I'm going to show you what's happening. So let me just do this at the same time. So the recipe is posted in an earlier post, and what I was going to say was go through your freezer and look for all those little bits of vegetables that you really often have left over that are just sitting there, and you think, oh yeah, I'll use those one time. When I make quesadillas, are going to be perfect for that. When I come up with a whole bunch of other things, once I find out what other ingredients I have to make more food. But know that also, as well as these, then my daughter Hadley has done the Blender Pancakes, which is going to be great for your kids to watch, because then your kids are also going to say, all right, yeah, I can make this. If this kid's doing it and she forgot to put the oil in that pan, then I can do it too. So hopefully you've got all the ingredients. I thought maybe one thing that you may or may not have is coconut milk. That's quite an important one to have. So you can, because you're going to puree this a little bit, if you really want to, you can take these, you can throw all of this, the onion, the carrots and the garlic, you can throw this into your food processor and give it a really quick whiz, because nothing needs to be perfectly uniform when we're doing this. So just so you know. So the way that I tend to chop, Logan's gonna put a piece of paper in my face in a second, but I'm not gonna take my eyes off this knife because otherwise I'm gonna chop my fingers. Allison Schaefer wants to go live with you, yes or no? Sure. Come on, Allison. Why don't you jump on? I think that's okay. I don't know. Let's try it. It's either gonna
unable to join.
You're unable to? You are able to?
She is unable to join.
She is unable to. Okay, so I think that would really work if the screen was faced the other way and then I could actually see Allison too. So I'm going to get the onions started first. There are some challenges to multitasking between 3 screens. Child's coming in from walking dog, making sure that she's going to wash her hands because we're in self-isolation still, and remembering what I have to chop first. So quick tips on chopping your onion really quick, just in case you don't happen to know. There's a few comments going on here, I think, Logan. So I take this end off. I call this the kind of the fuzzy end, which is this one right here. So must go wash your hands, please. Okay, she did. Okay, I just, I gotta do the mom thing at the same time. Hello, Ahmed, I think is, Logan, you can just say that. Okay, so you chop this guy in half, and then you want to peel off the outer layers. Anybody who's good at chopping might know how to do this already, but basically, I'm going to take my knife. Let me see if I can go kind of this way towards the camera. So I'm going to leave about a finger width's worth of this onion attached. And then I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go in all the way across. You can totally Google how to chop an onion and you'll find something probably a lot better than what I'm doing right now. But anyway, so I go right the way across and it's still all in one piece and it's not going to fall apart. And then you go and you cross it. Again, this does not need to be perfect chopping, but this is going to go in, and oh gosh, I should have put my contacts in because now I'm going to cry. I'm going to put this on, I'm going to throw in some olive oil, and we will throw in the onion. Logan, you can just quit.
Intimacy's watching.
Oh, my sister is watching, and she's in the UK. So we're going to chop out the rest of the onion. It's a bit late for you to be making food because they're, I think, 4 hours ahead right now. My other sister might be up. What day is it today? It's the 27th. Happy birthday! This time last year, because we have to go 24 hours ahead, it's my older sister's birthday. This time last year, can you believe that I was jumping out of a box in Australia because I went to Sydney to surprise my sister for her 50th birthday. I probably shouldn't say that big number. I'm a couple years behind her, but yeah, I can't believe it was 2 years ago. Okay, now I have all sorts of hands flapping at me behind. Yes, Logan.
Our VS 1717 is asking any tips on chopping a tomato.
Chips on chopping tomato is super sharp knife, and it depends. Here, my eyes are gonna go now. It really depends on how you want to chop it or what you're chopping it for. I would say. I got too many burners on here. I would, it really depends on what you're chopping it for. If it's for like a burger, then anything that you chop, the way that I teach chopping. Hang on a second. Let me just wash my hands. Onions. Okay, anything that you chop, the easiest way, when I did cooking classes for like 8 years, just a second, Logan, when I did cooking classes for 8 years, I always taught, when you have something that's round or whatever, find a flat surface. So whether it's chopping the top off of the onion so that you can turn it over, or you chopping it in half, then, so with this carrot, then I will chop like this. I'll do the same thing. Can you get me a Kleenex, please, Logan? I'll do the same thing with any sweet potato, with absolutely anything that's round, a beet or anything like that. Oh gosh, yes. Woo. Oh, the beauty of live video and onions. There we go.
Specifically for a salad.
Oh, specifically for a salad. Then I would sort of chop the top off, turn it upside down, and then you can sort of, the way that I'm chopping it right here like this, I'm gonna be able to see in a minute. Then you need to create the flat surface. So if you're, let's just say that this is your your tomato, obviously it's not, then you need to create a flat surface so that then you can go and chop. And the way that you chop, I suggest, is you go across until you can go no further and you're gonna hurt your fingers, and then you lay it down flat again. So here I am with my carrot. I can just about see. From the onions. I should have really chopped those before. That would have been a better idea, but I'm sure you're enjoying watching my tears and me sniffing, but you know why. So here I can't really go any further, so that's when you lay it down flat and then you go across like this. So this is how I chop everything all the time, is always to try and get to that really easy place where you can chop. So I don't know, does that help with a tomato? Maybe? Okay. Let's not lose our onions here. Turn that down a little bit. So really, we just want to kind of saute the onions a little bit. I've got 2 cloves of garlic here because who does not need immune boosting right now? We all do. So the more garlic you throw in this, if you're in any kind of isolation, doesn't matter, you're going to breathe over yourself, maybe your family, and if they're having this, then it doesn't matter, you're all going to stink, you're all going to smell garlic, so it doesn't matter. The more garlic you put in this, the more your immune system is going to love you. And if we think about what I talked about this yesterday because of the 2 days ago, I guess, because of the sweet potatoes. Yesterday I was talking about the blueberries and the antioxidants, the colors that we really need to be consuming right now are so important. So making sure that you're having as many colors. So we've got yellow. The onions and the garlic are incredible for the sulfur-containing amino acids, which are incredible for your liver. The garlic isn't so good for your immune system. So all of these together are absolutely amazing. So this is, I do have an actual immune boosting soup in my book, which is super yum, but this one is also really good. Okay, so I've got this going on. Let's go put this in with the onions. This is when it starts to smell absolutely amazing. There we go. Let's not burn anything. Okay, finished chopping my carrots. I've lost my knife. There we go. Yes, question.
Kelly's asking, can we chop garlic from a jar? Fresh garlic out in the stores, it comes from China.
Oh, yes, you can use garlic in a jar. I try not to. If I'm going to go and buy a whole bunch, I mean, use whatever you have, please. Those were my last 2 cloves of garlic, and I don't have a jar, so I'm kind of pooched now until someone kind like you, Kelly, goes and does a bit of shopping. So just honestly use what you've got. If you don't have garlic, then okay, just don't put garlic in, but make the soup still anyway. I don't buy any of that's made. It's good to have on hand, especially at times like this. So if that's all you can find right now, go and get it because it's good to have. But there's always funny oils and things like that they put in there, so it's just not my choice to have those kind of things. Something that's more frozen, or there used to be things in ice cubes. You can actually do that yourself. You can go through and just, with your garlic press, make a whole bunch of garlic and then freeze it yourself. I mean, you've got a bit more time to do those things right now, but pick your battles is kind of what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, Logan, another.
And Timothy says, thanks for the garlic reminders. I'm adding it to everything.
Excellent. Very good. Keep on going. You might want to poke your head around here because there might be some also on Spurt Rate's page. That's on the laptop today. So we'll see what else is going on there. Okay, so a little on the crispy side, but that's because I'm super multitasking. But basically, this is the kind of thing that we're looking at here for what's going on with the onions. I'm gonna put all the corn in. I don't think I
Good.
showed
Very,
you
very
the
good.
recipe.
Keep on going. You might want to poke your head.
Now I'm watching myself. Logan's flipped to some other kind of screen and I'm not really sure what's happening. So, I think it's recording because somehow it's still on. I don't know. Now you're going to cut us off, I think, if you do that, Logan. Can you just go back or something? No?
That's one.
Okay, I hope we haven't just lost you. So in this large pot right here, I have, pardon?
You're on Leanne's here and Leanne's here.
There's no spread, right? Ah, okay, well, Technical Wizard is going to work on stuff while we're doing while we're doing this. So I told you I had a lot of stock earlier. So this is my stock pot of all the stock that I've just defrosted, which is crazy. Kelly can still see me. Thank you, Kelly. So I'm going to pour in about just over, I think it's like 2 1/3 cups. So this is the recipe. Sorry, I didn't show you earlier. It's going to look just as beautiful as this, which was all staged and fabulous for my book shoot, but it's not. But it doesn't matter. It's all gonna be delicious and super, super tasty. So 1 1/3 cups. I don't really tend to measure too much because I kind of make this a lot, but for anybody that really wants to make sure that they're following exactly the first time that you make it, then that's always a really good idea. So just a little bit going on in there, and then here we have what's going in is about just under 2 cups of stock. Now, because I have so much stock, I was quite tempted to make a double batch of this so that I could throw it in the freezer, but I didn't have enough corn. But you can still stretch it. So all of my recipes, the way that I cook, the way that I do stuff, is so that you can kind of half make it up at the same time. Really, it doesn't matter. This is not, it's not gonna ruin the whole thing. It's not gonna ruin the whole situation. So with this recipe, it's asking for about 400 mils, so I've got that of stock. I could easily double that. It was just the corn that I didn't quite have enough of, or maybe it was carrots or something like that that I didn't quite have enough of. The only thing I don't have right now is the ginger, so let me grab that because we need the ginger. So just before I throw all of this stock in and the corn, I want to put the ginger in. The ginger gets really super fragrant. Now, here's an interesting way to be able to deal with the ginger. So I actually just use a spoon to peel it. You can use a peeler, but God, you lose so much of the ginger, and the ginger is really anti-inflammatory. It's super soothing. It's so good for your gut. It's good for your skin, and we really, really need to keep the anti-inflammatory. Don't worry, Logan. Keep the anti-inflammatory at the top of our mind right now, because we need anything that's anti-inflammatory for our immune system. So when we get sick, the inflammation goes through the roof. That's where you get the sore throat. That's where you get the mucus. That's where you get the chest. That's where it goes to your heart. All of those kind of things. So keeping up a lot with as much anti-inflammatory as possible is awesome, which is where the colors come from, which is where the foods like this, the sweet potato that I made the other day, any amount of color that you can get into your day is an amazing thing. So with the ginger, lots of people have this maybe in a tube or something like that, so that's totally fine. I'm just chopping it up. I sometimes would just grate it with a fine grater. That's another great way of dealing with the ginger, but I am actually going to puree this, so hopefully nobody's going to end up with a big fat lump of ginger in their mouth, but if they do, it'll probably be Hadley, because she's the one who doesn't like all the hot stuff. So that's going into, just stir that around a little bit. Honestly, most of the recipes in my book are so fast that once you really kind of get into this, you'd be like, gosh, that was so super quick to make. Let me just move these out of the way. And then I'm going to throw in, this is already hot, so this will actually warm up quite quickly. I'm going to bring that to the boil, so turn up the element. want to. There we go. And salt and pepper if you want. That really is completely up to you how much seasoning, extra seasoning you want to put in there. Now this is frozen. If you wanted to leave this out to thaw a little bit, then basically you kind of would. You've got two options when it comes time to the corn. So because you're going to puree this, sometimes it's quite nice to have a few whole pieces of corn. So you can keep to the side, and I don't even remember if it says this in the original recipe, but if you want to take another bowl, and you can just keep some of this to the side, and what you're going to do is you're going to throw this in at the end or sprinkle a little bit on the top of the soup. You really don't have to get that fancy or anything like that, but I'm just going to keep a little bit to the side. I'm going to put the rest of this in as it's coming to the boil, and it'll slow it down because it is frozen. Thank goodness for frozen corn, because it's such a staple, especially for things like this. Was there a question, Logan?
Nope.
You were waving your arms, I thought, sorry.
No.
So really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the carrots are probably the hardest vegetable. We're trying to get the carrots to cook. I'm not sure. Can you just tell me, please?
Auntie Janine says that you keep pausing.
We keep pausing. That's probably because our internet is challenged at the moment with so many people on it. Would you maybe just ask Hadley to get off the internet in case she is on? So once I choose whichever video, because we have two phones going at the moment, whichever video is not sort of stopping, know that this will be up on YouTube. And because that was my sister telling me that we keep pausing, happy birthday! I can't believe that it was a year ago that there I was in Sydney surprising you for your birthday, and you had no idea. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that was just such an amazing time, and here we are, fast forward a year, and yeah, things are different this time. So we're just gonna bring that to the boil, and like I said, we're really just trying to defrost the corn, slightly cook the corn. The corn's blanched already, so that's all good. And then just warm it all the way through. So once the carrots are kind of soft, or to your whatever it is, to you, however you like it, basically is what I'm trying to say. I'm tripping up on my own words here. In goes the coconut milk. Now, if you don't have any coconut milk at home, I try and change up the types of milk that we use. So I use almond milk, sometimes I use coconut milk, sometimes I use another nut milk, and this one is amazing. I use a can of coconut milk. I'll change up dairy cream. So in the frittata recipe, for instance, which is also delish, you can use that. I've even made spaghetti carbonara instead of with cream. I've made it with coconut milk. It needs a lot more seasoning going into it, but it still totally works. So just know that if you've got this, when you once you've taken the lid off, then it's not so easy to do. So before you use your can opener with this, just put it into a bowl of hot water, and then give it a really, really, really good shake. Some brands now say on the front that it's completely emulsified and all the fat is all the way through it, so you can just pour it, but that's again something else that's added in there in order to make that happen. So if you just warm it up a little bit first, you can give it a shake, and then if you're only using a small portion of this, what I tend to do is whatever's left over, because of whatever the recipe is called for, then just pour this into an ice cube tray, and then you've got a little bit of coconut milk left over for, I don't know, put it in your tea, whip it up, do whatever you like with it, or use it for that same recipe afterwards. So this has gone in. I'm going to put in some salt and pepper. It's starting to look a lot more like the soup. Now, you can just leave it like this, super duper duper chunky, but it's actually much nicer and gets to look so much more like the original, like the picture here, is if you puree it. Now you can put this into your any kind of blender. One of my favorite, small appliances for making purees, for Sprout Right babies, or even bean burgers or hummus. I've made absolutely everything that you can imagine. I believe almost every single recipe in my book you can use a hand blender. So once it's cooked, I'm not going to try and do it just yet because you guys can just use your imagination. But once this is soft enough, then just let your saucepan cool, and then you take the hand blender and just give it a quick mash, stir it all around, and then with your little bit extra that you have left, then you can either pour that in, or when you're ready to put it into the bowls, then you can just sprinkle a little bit on top. Now this is still frozen, so make sure you defrost it, otherwise it'll be a little crunchy on the teeth. So that's a really good thing to do. In my book I suggest maybe making some garlic bread if you've got extra garlic hanging around. It's lovely to do. You could put some chicken on the side. The chicken souvlaki in my book as well is absolutely tremendous. Now that I have more chicken, maybe we'll make chicken souvlaki one day next week, so be ready for that. But seriously, whoever happens to be watching, if there's something that you want to make, I was on a call with my Mastermind Group this morning, and Jenna said, can you tell me something that I can make and then put into the freezer, because I don't really want to be cooking every day. She's trying to work from home. She's got her kids at home too, so it does get a bit frazzling by about 5 o'clock when you've got to think, oh boy, I really haven't got the energy to cook yet another meal. Because it's just been a day. Every single day is a little bit different. Thank goodness the sun is shining today, so that does make things a lot better for us here, but sometimes those gray days really do tend to get a bit long. And so really anything that you're making, anything, even if you make pizza, we'll do pizza one night when I've got a few more vegetables hanging around. When you make a pizza, I never only make one pizza, and actually we need to make a pizza base because I don't have any of those. So this is all challenging, right? It's all, let's find a way. There was a fantastic stream on Twitter. Somebody started a conversation on Twitter, and they put in a bread recipe, a flatbread recipe, and it was tremendous. I've taken screenshots of all of these, so I'm happy to share with anyone. And then someone added in a chapati recipe, and then someone from Ireland put in Irish soda bread recipe. So there was this whole stream of all these different types of very, very simple bread with minimal ingredients that you can make at home while you're while you're trying to feed a family, while you're trying to, live without being able to go to the store or being able to buy what it is that you normally buy. So my thinking is that I'm going to make one of those as a pizza base, but I will always have two. Whenever you make one of anything, you always make more of it, and then one will go into the freezer. You can freeze cheese. You can freeze all those vegetables, because when I make a pizza, it's not your typical pizza. And Logan's behind this. I should have flipped it because she just completely rolled her eyes like, oh my god, my nutritionist mom, she doesn't understand broccoli does not go on pizza. Yes, exactly. She says, but that's how I roll and that's how I make pizza. So that's something that is a great way. As soon as you stick that cheese on there, and the same thing with the quesadillas, as soon as you put that cheese on there, anything is fair game that goes in there. So I've got this kind of a little bit too much of a boil. Let me just turn that down a little bit to simmer. But it smells really, really good. I hope if you're doing this along with me at home that it's smelling as good at your place too. So probably about another 5 to 10 minutes of that, and then I will absolutely go at it with my hand blender. And hey presto, there we go. We have dinner again. So comment in the notes. Do you have anything else? Do you have any challenges right now with the foods? Do you have a whole bunch of foods and you don't actually know what to do with them because your family or because you're just so bored with something? Logan's laughing. Have we got a comment going on?
Kelly says, it smells delicious. I'm adding chicken. Yum.
Excellent. Yes, just some chicken on the side with this would just be fantastic. If you're vegetarian, get out your tofu or anything. You could throw in rice to this. You could add in quinoa to this. Really, like, sky's the limit with all the recipes in my book, and I've really made them that way because If you're not too sure about cooking, then start here and then kind of expand from there. And if you're a bit of a whiz in the kitchen, then look at this recipe and think, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then away you go. Nothing has to be absolutely, unless it's baking, nothing has to be absolute when it comes to this. That's probably why I don't really bake very much, because I'm not exactly accurate with everything. So, upcoming, if you don't subscribe to my newsletter at either leannephillipson.com or sproutright.com, I just sent out a newsletter this morning, actually, and happy to forward that on to anyone else if they want it, because you've missed it. We have tons of information, the radio spots that I've done this week talking about snacking, talking about the use of vitamin C in a New York City hospital for COVID-19, and understanding the importance of the more basic vitamins like vitamin C, because they're adding that into a cocktail for treatment for patients in New York City. So all those things just help us to feel like we've got this, like there's something that we can do when the world outside of us there's so much going on that's out of our control. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or when anything's going to shift or change or whatever. And we're living in a lot of fear right now. So just taking back some of your own power and knowing that what you're doing for yourself and your family is going to have an impact. Making this soup, making these meals, really trying to eat healthy amidst even though you keep going to the kitchen and you keep on snacking and all those kind of things. And also, if you have not heard or don't subscribe to my Eat This with Leanne podcast, I've just heard the final edit of that Chris put together, and he's such an incredible editor. So he's a wizard, I call him. So there will be a fantastic podcast episode addressing the situation, the current situation, the snacking, the eating, all of those kind of things, and my top tips for that. That'll come out on Monday, so make sure that you're looking out for that. We've got really a great subscriber list already going on, and if you also happen to need some more information about the supplements, do check out, if you got the newsletter and haven't looked, do check out, I'll put it on social media as well, the clip from News Talk 1010 last night when I was on talking about vitamin C and all the nutrients that you need, the immune boost package, which is on sproutright.com, that has the ever important vitamin D, really, really, really important. It's in a liposome spray. You've got the Alka-C in there. The extra zinc is in that as well that we need. You've got the Bio Boost, which is helping your gut and where 80% of your immune system is sitting. And then, the D, the Adult Boost. It has the Alka-C and the Bio Boost. So you've got those 4 in there, which are really, really supportive. Did you have another question there, Logan?
Oh, no. Auntie Donna's here, though.
Oh, hello, Donna. How are you doing? I hope your whole family is doing really well and everybody's keeping super safe. So, tomorrow is Saturday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. So, tomorrow I'm going to put out a video that we've already shot that of Hadley making the Blender Pancakes. So, get your kids ready, get your oats ready, get your egg, I think it's honey. Anyway, I'll post the recipe. I don't remember everything that's in there, and you can get going with the Blender Pancakes. And then let's do some more snacks. So maybe the Go Faster granola bars. We'll make those one day, maybe on Sunday. How about some overnight French toast, so that you can make that tomorrow or the next day or Sunday, and then you've got it ready to just throw into the oven for Monday morning, no matter what hour of the day your family happens to be getting up. Because one of my kids is up at 7 working out, and the other one is still in bed at noon, and I'm having to send in our puppy Lexi. Well, she's not a puppy anymore, but to do the wake her up, because it's not happening. So somewhere in the middle, we might find a bit of balance. Yes, Logan.
Auntie Donna said that she bought some stuff to make the salmon cakes, and yummy.
Oh, good. Yes, the salmon burgers that I made on our day 1. So easy, so anti-inflammatory. I'm going to keep on saying that word. I'm going to keep on talking about that all the time. So as much of those ingredients that you can get into the meals that you're making for yourselves and your families, even if you're going to go back and snack on them an hour later, that's totally fine too. So I think I got probably about another 5 minutes here of this. And and reach out. I'm here for you. I'm doing this so that you can have just a change of scenery to your phone, to your laptop, to wherever you happen to be watching this. But I am here to help with any questions or concerns that you have. Sproutright.com is still open. You can order all of your supplements there and send us a message if that's what you want to do. So tomorrow we might have some other sort of technological wizardry going on here, and who knows where else we might pop up, but we will definitely be on where you're watching now, and maybe even another platform too. So have a great evening, chill out, get to bed early, hydrate, and tomorrow morning have a glass of lukewarm water with some lemon squeezed in it, and your liver and your kidneys will be saying thank you, and also your digestive system. So there's another top tip for tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Take care.